probably need to change the batteries. You know what I mean?
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And
that's where you put your testicles at.
right.
Yeah.
But so hey, we made it again.
Show 6.
Another week of Sad Dad's Club podcast is here, and we're in the works of this one right now, of course. Number 6, actually. Can you believe it?
6, as they say in France.
6 in, yeah.
Or is that Polish? I don't know. I'm not in high school. I don't take language.
I think I'm an ESL kid, even though I'm...
Extra special language?
English is a second language.
Oh. Slang is first?
Pretty much. And work jargon.
They only, over here at Wood Creek, they only offer Spanish. That's the only language.
No German or French or anything else?
They ran out of, I don't think it was budget. I think the teachers just, not enough teachers to teach other languages. Piper's going to learn sign language through Sierra College. As her elective for language.
Well, we're hitting this early. My daughter didn't want to take any foreign languages, so in high school, she ended up taking ASL, sign language, at Sierra College and got 2 years worth of credits for one semester of college class.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. And then she didn't have to take any classes at school. No foreign language whatsoever.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's kind of impressive, actually. So anyway, hey, we're here at episode 6. We got some new news. The Sad Dad's Club podcast is now on YouTube.
As someone that ingests a lot of YouTube,
yep,
click the bell so you get notifications of our uploads. Click like and subscribe, your thumbs up.
Absolutely, ding-a-ling.
Because the YouTube algorithms may not notify you if a new update comes through. So please make sure that the bell is clicked and you've clicked subscribe.
Ding the hell out of it.
We're now on YouTube.
Yep, in addition to all the old places like iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, directly from our website at saddadsclub.net. You can't stream it on Facebook or Twitter, but we do have a presence there. So look for us on Facebook and Twitter. And email us with anything, feedback, questions, comments, flameograms, whatever it is.
Something you may want us to read from a past episode, get your input on.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I'm looking forward to probably somewhere in Christmas us doing like a Facebook Live thing.
Oh, Christmas time?
Yeah.
All right.
Somewhere in December when
when
I have PTO, so I can like pound some shots and get a little loosey-goosey. Oh, that's my picture.
Right. Yeah, well, we talked about doing that. I think that'll be fun to do.
It'll be a good one.
But that email address is saddadsclubpodcast@gmail.com. And also, if the ladies are interested, they can also get Data's there too. We'll forward any corresponding emails.
Oh yeah,
straight to Data's. Yeah, he looks stoked right now.
Ready to take the feedback. The whole feedback.
So this week coming up, in this show where we've got in the B through D blocks, we're gonna have. Basically the same kind of thing we normally do in the B, which is
weekends and highlights.
And
what we did as dads. Killed
pretty
time.
much. And then in the C block, we kind of do rotating bits of different things. We do some news article things, but this week we're going to talk about
games.
A game, The Ingress Prime came out this week.
What?
And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. And if we get to it in the D block, we might even talk a little politics.
A little. We promise not to scare you.
We won't scare you.
It'll be in general.
Yeah. So that's where we're headed. So what do we got going on? Well, we got the B block. We're actually there at the B block now. What do we got?
I was on call all weekend, so I didn't get to leave the house. As someone who's had on call prior. God.
I had that. I used to be an on-call.
So we have a 15-minute
that's the worst
SLA. So I really can't leave the house. If I get paged, I have to be able to respond within 15 minutes to the alert.
So is there stuff you can do from your phone? So like,
not really, no.
So you can't do anything from
Probably in about 10 years ago, yeah. I could have probably done like a VPN thing and like sort of pulled something off to get me like another 10 minutes to get back to the house. But nowadays with all of the, secure VPN stuff and the amount of tools that you need to get.
So you're almost chained to the house.
Yes, not almost. That's between Tuesday and Tuesday, between the hours of 6 a.m. and 7 p.m., I don't leave the house.
I can't believe that.
Tuesday to Tuesday.
At least when I had on call, I at least got to go into the office, and I could go out. Now, I worked for an IT group, and I was a desktop support guy, so I managed all the systems that were in-house for all the employees. I was in the IT group, but I didn't do the IT group work that all the other guys were doing because I was doing my IT work, which was in-house stuff.
Right.
But as an on-call person and part of the IT group, I was expected to carry the pager or the phone.
Right.
And somehow know
Are
how
you
to
so
manage.
old that back then it was a beeper?
No, it was a phone. But somehow know how to manage all the servers that all the other guys knew how to do, which I didn't really have any experience with. So that was really hard for me, and it was stressful, especially when you got hit in the middle of the night over and over and over again, and you're trying to get a hold of other people to help because
it's stressful.
Yes.
Like at least, and I mean, in the last 5 years, it's gone from, it used to be a 24-hour thing, like day or night. At least now with a lot of our offshoring support, now it's 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. So, but then I'm just so wound up, and you're like waiting for an emergency to happen that by the time the shift ends, you're like, I can't. I'm just so wound up that I just want to, how do you take a break from that? You're like waiting to do something that's supposed to be really busted.
How often do you get a call
right now
per week? Like what's your average per week?
Let's see. Last week there's one, at least one a day, and we're Sev 3, so it's when it gets to us, it's bad.
Oh,
so it's never that's a password. There's nothing easy knockout. It's
hardcore.
This whole data center has lost its entire SAN array.
Oh, Jesus.
And there's like 60 apps that have all
tanked.
And someone has already said, I got nothing. And then we get paged, and then it's like, okay.
So are you the guys that have to come in and like, okay, you have backups for this, right?
It's pretty close to that, or it's like, okay, so how bad is the knot? Can I untie it? And if I can't untie it, then we're getting you new shoelaces, kind of thing.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Data's perked up. You heard shoelaces.
Yeah. So the on-call was over weekend. Then I played a lot of Destiny. I do that like on the weekend because I can't leave. So I play Destiny like in the off time and eat candy.
Man, I just can't imagine not being. I mean, considering you work from home, now you're just stuck there.
Oh yeah.
So you don't even get to go into an office and like be around other people if the pager goes off. Oh, what's going on?
Yeah.
You're just...
And like I said, it used to be when it was a 24-hour one.
Yeah.
It was, I would hit Tuesday, and a lot of us, well, it wasn't just me. A lot of us, when we would hit Tuesday, we would almost sleep all Tuesday.
Yeah.
Because you're like...
Yeah.
You pound coffee almost 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
Waiting for the thing because, like I said, 15 minutes.
Now, what's funny about that is I left that job and started working for the company I'm at now.
Yeah.
And I get an email from the IT manager a couple months later, and he says, hey, I just wanted to contact you, see how you're doing, and ask you if you're interested in coming back. And I said, well, there's going to be a couple things that have to happen for me to do that.
Bitten once, twice shy.
And one of those was not carrying the pager.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely not.
I think I said I wanted them to match plus me.
Your current
money-wise,
pay?
yeah.
Oh, no, yeah.
And then I think I even asked for more vacation. And he just said, yeah, I can't do that.
And you said, yeah, neither can I,
Neither can I, buddy.
Yeah. Take care now. Bye-bye then.
That's how stressful that pager thing is. Forget it. Forget it.
Yeah. It's, God. And what happens a lot of times, too, is, when the week or in the days leading up to your rotation, it's like that reverse excitement. It's apprehension and like almost anxiety.
It's
panic.
like several days of Sunday.
Yeah.
All stacked up
You're
for the next week.
Damn it, I just don't want this.
Yeah. So
then the good thing was on Monday. So after the shift ended on Monday, Piper had she had a band concert, or it might have been today's Wednesday. It was Monday.
All day. Yeah.
See, the days run together because it's just so burnout. Monday was her jazz band, the Wood Creek over there, had a concert. Convinced me that band is not the ultimate and pinnacle team sport in high school.
Really?
I think band is amazing.
Well, they have serious competition for band. I mean,
and she's been doing it since middle school.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely. Those kids. Let me tell you. So when I tie that to the pager, so I get to 7 and I get over there to listen to these kids absolutely nail it.
Yeah.
And
Now is this is music in addition to some choreographed thing that's going on field?
Or? No. So she does do marching band, but this was different. Concert band, jazz band, and they have some elective course there at the school where they have like cover band.
Okay.
So it was a mix of a couple different types of band, and I just close my eyes and listen to these kids nail it. Absolutely. And in high school, I couldn't care two shits about band. Like I can't tell you.
I couldn't care one shit.
Yeah, couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
And it's odd because I would consider myself a fairly well-rounded music person. But in high school and elementary school, listened to various genres of music and still do. But in high school, couldn't care less. This absolutely helps me find a center. Listening to these kids play music, and it's not current, it's not pop, it is orchestra and jazz. It is amazing.
So is that a testament to the quality of their play per se? Because I mean,
absolutely,
you've heard high school bands,
and the teacher over there at Wood Creek, he's retiring this year. He's amazing too. I think so. It's a testament to his instruction, as well as the kids' talent that all are opting into this. I mean, absolutely amazing.
But I mean, we've all heard that high school band where they're just terrible, right? And you're just
these kids. And a lot of this stuff from over here at Silverado, the middle school, funnels into the amazing talent there. Miss Mellon that teaches the band over there at Silverado, she's amazing, and she produces amazing talent as well. And then they funnel in over here to Wood Creek, and so the instructor there is a talent, and he just perfects the kids. Just amazing, amazing. And
awesome.
then Tuesday, Xander. They do a dance, collab, it's like a hodgepodge thing where all the kids in all the grades get out and do a dance to a bunch of pop song mash stuff. And so you go from the older kids helping you hey, here's this will calm you down. This will help you find your center. To the smaller kids in elementary school, just out there having fun, putting a smile on I'm at the end of my on-call, and I go see my son dance and the rest of these kids from kindergarten to 6th grade, and it's just there's nothing but smiles. It's this is
and the stress is melting off.
Right.
You.
There is not a drug or pharmaceutical or a liquid that I could get that can give me the feels that watching these kids do that does. I'm like, this is perfect. Exactly what I needed. And they're not professionals,
right?
But they're having fun, and I'm smiling. The parents are all smiling. Everyone's laughing. Some kid's doing a Fortnite floss thing. Absolutely, it was funny as hell. Yeah, there you go. Data's rocking it. It was the perfect end to like a stressful adult week. It just, it was awesome.
That is awesome.
That was my
now.
weekend.
Speaking of that,
yeah.
You got the 3-day weekend coming?
I do. So I'm off right now. That was part of the reason I was running late. I was trying to wrap up shit because I'm off tomorrow.
Oh, that's right.
Friday.
I totally forgot. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3-day weekend. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I'm not on call, so that's good.
Yeah.
Yes. So PTO, I'm on it. What you got? What'd you do?
Not much.
Did Data fix the toilet?
No.
Did you watch Greatest Showman?
No.
Fuck. You didn't do shit.
I mowed my yard.
Well, okay, that's something.
And then I prepped my pool to get it ready to be covered. So I had to get it cleaned up. So I haven't covered it yet, but I think
But it's like fall, cold weather, so you've like mowed your lawn now until January.
It's super green and growing like crazy because right at the beginning of fall or whatever, I was putting down some pretty good amounts of weed and feed.
Oh,
and man, it just went green and it's been growing like crazy. So it's like I'm going to be probably mowing, and unless we get a real cold snap, I'll probably be mowing.
Are you happy with your mower?
I was thinking about my mower. It's 22 years old.
See, that's a good mower, though.
Yeah, it's 22 years old. I've never changed the oil.
Yeah. They don't make those anymore.
No.
Honest to God, they don't make those anymore.
I've never done any kind of maintenance to it. I think I've filed on the blades once to sharpen them.
Okay, you should do that, though, more often.
It still cuts clean.
It would cut better. You'll get another 5 years out of the thing if you just keep the blade on.
What I should do is get the oil changed.
Probably.
And I've been putting a mishmash of oil in there.
I would definitely not get a new one. You're like on a gold mine there with that mower.
Yeah, it's called a Toro GTS2, guaranteed to start in 2. It still starts. I can still get it to start in the first pull. It's 22 years old.
That's like a OG. Never sell that ever.
Yeah.
So mowed the lawn, pool.
Yeah, mowed the lawn, some pool stuff, and I don't know. The wife and I did a little shopping and
Christmas shopping. They have Black Friday all through November now.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. Is the Christmas shit up at Home Depot on those yet?
Yes. Well,
really?
Yeah. Well, we have to buy. I don't know. Did I mention this?
Yeah, the tree.
We have to buy a new tree, so we kind of are already looking at this stuff. In fact, for my wife's birthday, she was given a snowman, up like 3 foot.
3 foot
snowman for her birthday. So yeah, so you can definitely get Christmas stuff out there now if you're in the market for it.
No way.
Yeah,
I don't want Christmas yet.
But some of that they have to. It's not like you're gonna wait until December to go buy your tree. Like we need to buy a tree now.
Yeah, I would
ready.
agree.
So you're not gonna buy a new like a fresh cut tree now. So you're gonna buy that in December.
Right.
So
we have to do the fake tree.
Yeah. Well, the wife has these insane allergies.
Oh.
And if we get a fresh cut tree in the house, it just plays with her, and she doesn't respond very well at all. So she's a mess.
It's easier to get a new tree.
It's easier
than a new wife.
Just cut her head off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I needed to get past this. Here's a mask.
Yeah.
It works in China.
Yeah. Well, sort of. Have you ever seen the smog there in China?
It's terrible.
Here, put this mask. I don't think that mask is going to do much to that air.
You're going to die early.
Yeah, you're sucking like car parts.
Yeah.
You don't even know what's in that air.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's the motherboard that I had in 1982.
Oh my gosh. What is? I mean, that's some insane what they got going on in what is that, Shanghai or whatever, wherever they had the Olympics. Yeah, that's terrible. I mean, that makes L.A. look like something good,
clean.
Yeah, Hawaii.
Because wow, it's a mess.
So yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't have much this weekend.
Did you eat any of the Halloween candy?
Yes.
Is it gone?
No.
We did the final sorting on Sunday.
The final
right. So we had talked about the sorting. So we let the kids pick like a large, not a large, but the sandwich size Ziploc bag. Like, here, fill it. Here's your candy. Anything you want in here, pick out. And then Venus and I went, and the pile that's left over, Venus and I were like, so now we'll go through it and we'll try and modestly.
And where's our gallon size bags?
Well, right. So we had like a big soup bowl. We're like, all right. So, I'll pick out what I want. So we had picked out, so the kids got done.
Yeah.
So we're going through the candy. So we're sifting through the candy, and we're all sitting at the dinner table. I'm like, and I just look at Venus. I'm like, when was the last time you had an Almond Joy? She's like, I don't know. So Piper's like, I don't know. What's that?
I have an answer for this.
Do you have?
Yeah.
Well,
never.
Yeah.
Because they're disgusting.
Because usually I just, I'll pick out the candy I like, and we, donate the rest, or we just end up chucking it, whatever. So I'm like, yeah, I tell you what, for science, I'll eat an Almond Joy.
For science.
So, I know there's coconut in it, so I open it, and so the first thing that sticks out to me is that it's the fun size.
Yes.
And smack dab in the middle of the fun size is the almond.
The one almond.
A single almond.
Uh-huh.
So then it was for science. Now I'm curious. So I asked Venus, I'm like, so does the full size Almond Joy have almonds all along the top? How many almonds are on the top of a full size Almond Joy candy bar? We didn't know. So then it was, if there's one almond on the Almond Joy fun size, am I expected to just swallow the whole fun size? Or am I supposed to be modest about it and bite it halfway?
Bite the almond in half?
What is the portion mouth size of a fun size candy bar? And we were absolutely dying about like the physics of how do you approach, what is the expected chew size of a fun? Am I just supposed to pound it?
Right.
Or because there's only one almond here, do I split the almond in twain?
Are they all like that?
Yes, we had two.
So it's like,
for science,
the candies are coming down the assembly line,
right?
And they've got a person with a glove on, and they're just putting one almond
single
on top.
almond if you're from the South. So I ate it.
Mm-hmm.
I ate half. Took a bite of half because I didn't feel like a piggy.
Well, here's what I would have done.
Okay.
You got a little bit of extra on both sides of the almond.
Yeah.
I would have probably bitten off both sides and then had the last bite be with the almond.
So what I did is I took a generous bite and didn't get the almond because I figured in order to experience the Almond Joy, you need to get the almond.
The first word in its name is Almond Joy.
So I nibbled off the first third of it.
Yeah. And
oh my God, the amount of coconut in that shit. I was chewing on that for a good 30 seconds. So
I am freaking out because I fucking hate coconut.
It is so bad.
It's a joke at my house about Almond Joy and Mounds about, do you want a Mounds, Jim?
Instead of the...
No. No.
It has nuts. So I had forgotten the amount of pulp involved with an Almond Joy.
And I think they mix a lot of sugar with
it is... Yeah.
Yeah. It's very sweet.
Yes. The problem is, after the first 10 to 15 seconds of gnawing on this
fibrous
pulp ball, all the chocolate is gone. All the sugar is gone. You're just left with this mash of pulp on the side of your cheek that gets into everything.
And it's gritty.
And so they're watching me just chew on this thing for a good 30 seconds to a minute and a half. It was absolutely I'm done. My mouth hurts. Like, I can't believe I'm doing this.
Did you spit it out, or did you just?
No, I finished it like a man. I ate the whole thing, and
No
then I ate
bib.
the other one because I was like, well, now I have to see for science if you're
geez.
supposed to pound the whole thing. And it was another good 2 to 3 minutes, and you can't just swallow it.
No.
You end up chewing, like your instinctual chewing habits force you to just gnaw on this ball of pulp.
You're like a cow out in the field,
Yeah.
just nyang.
Right. Yeah. It was and we were just dying the whole time because like we're trying to have a conversation, and I'm just gnawing on this pulp like a cow, like nyang 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 nyang. And so then the other one was a peppermint patty. How long has it been since you've had a peppermint patty?
Maybe a year
So
ago.
I get peppermint patties and like the York ice cream peppermint things, like the ones that go in your the freezer, confused a lot. So this thing,
like you're talking about a peppermint patty and a who was?
it's like the candy is different from the thing that you put in your freezer. I can't remember, not an It's It, but it's like or maybe it is a peppermint patty, but it has ice cream in it. I don't know. So the candy, the little discs.
Yeah. Which are basically very thin dark chocolate on the outside and like a lot of white pepperminty
It's
goop
like
in
a
the middle.
Schmitz of something. I don't know what it's called.
Goop.
So it's white peanut butter.
Pretty much.
So I put this thing in my mouth, and so it's it's like wintergreen toothpaste.
I think you have to nibble it.
So I made a mistake right out
I
the
think
gate.
you just have to take little pieces off of it.
So I put this in my mouth, and I'm chewing it,
Okay.
and at least it wasn't pulp like the Almond Joy.
Right.
But what happens is it goes from like easily chewable to like peppermint peanut butter. It gets tacky and like sticks to everything in your mouth like peanut butter.
Yeah.
And I went, this is amazing. It turns into the consistency of peanut butter. And Venus doesn't like it, didn't want any part of it. But I'm like, you have to try this because it's so bizarre of what happens inside your mouth with this peppermint patty stuff. It blew my mind. So she did it. She's like, yeah, it turns into like peppermint peanut butter.
It's like it's cement. It starts to
Yes,
cement
absolutely. It gets like thick, and the
Starts
longer
getting
you
hot.
chew it, it's like, this is nasty.
Yeah.
Please, no, make it stop. And so I didn't do another one of those.
I don't think I would put a whole peppermint patty in my face.
They were like small. And since I pounded a fun size Almond Joy, I felt that this was the American way. You just eat the whole thing.
Yeah, well,
like a fat, gluttonous pig.
I mean, fun sizes, I always have a problem with just the term fun size when you're talking about a candy bar in general. Because what's fun about unwrapping 3 of these things to get 1 candy bar?
Right.
There's nothing fun about that.
Well,
I don't think
it was a serious conversation about, when you buy a Snickers, right? Because now they sell like the family size or the share size candy bars.
Yeah.
Where it's actually 2 candy bars in a single wrapper.
Like instead of a king size, it's like a double or something.
Right.
Yeah.
So the serving size of a not shareable adult, whatever the double whammies are, is 1 candy bar.
Uh-huh.
But if you were to line up a fun size next to a normal size a full size candy bar,
Yeah.
you wouldn't probably get more than 3.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
But when you approach a normal size Snickers bar, are you eating it in 3 bites?
No.
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 How bizarre is it that then you're expected to take a whole fun size candy bar?
I don't know that you are.
And
I don't think that they're fun size, but they're not necessarily bite size. Right?
So are you with one almond?
Also, we got like
am I
the
supposed
fun
to share
size
an almond?
You get the fun size Snicker, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I open one of those, it takes me 3 bites to eat that.
So you're dainty.
I guess so.
You have scruples.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I don't just.
Excuse me.
I don't think I could kill just the everything gooing together in my grill off of 1 chunk of candy like that. No.
What else did we do? We lined up the candy bars.
Now I have a thing about the almond.
Okay.
So back in the, I want to say maybe 10 plus years ago, Snickers came out with Snickers almonds. Yeah. And I love almonds.
No,
That's one of my favorite nuts to eat. And so I'm like, oh, I got to try that. So I bought one.
You ever thought about eating my nuts?
Oh, when don't I?
Alrighty.
So I bought one and I ate it, and I was so disappointed because think of a Snickers size regular candy bar.
Okay.
The same size candy bar as a regular Snickers, but it had one almond on it.
No way.
I am dead serious.
Did they not replace the nuts with almonds?
That's the point. And I remember I ate it and it had one almond. I was super disappointed. I actually wrote them and said, why is this called Snickers almonds if you're only putting one almond on it? It should be called Snickers almond. Because why would I buy a candy bar that has one nut?
If I want that, I would get the Lance Armstrong one.
Right.
So I have a question then. Were the almonds on top of the candy bar? And it only had one?
Yeah.
Or did you bite into it and only see one almond through the inside?
You could see under the chocolate cover.
Yeah.
Just like one lump where the fucking almond is.
You're like,
and it was, is this really just have one almond on it? And I ate it, and until I got to that spot, that was the only one that had an almond. And I remember I'd never bought another one because I was like, why? That's dumb. That's stupid. Snickers
funny.
almonds, but it's only got one.
What a waste.
Yeah. But anyway, so you're talking about a fun size candy bar, the Almond Joy that only had one almond. This was a full-size candy bar.
So to me, they're telling you, eat this whole thing. Be a fat piggy.
Oh, the whole candy bar?
Almond, you only get one almond. And there's no way you're going to split that almond with your janky-ass grill.
Now I have a janky... I'm dainty, and I have a janky-ass grill. No, I know. Yeah, no, I thought that was bizarre. That one, like, I was mad. Like, who do you think I am?
Yeah.
An idiot? No. You're going to get a complaint from me.
Almonds.
Yeah.
There's an S on there, fuckers.
Yeah.
Do it.
So.
Feed me.
Anyway. No, but we still have candy left. I have a bag of Take Fives that hasn't even been opened yet.
We have like a half bowl. But it's hodgepodge.
Like Dum-Dums and stuff?
Yeah, a couple suckers. A couple M&Ms.
Well,
I try not to pound like the Sour Patch Kids anymore because that just wrecks the shit out of my teeth, the enamel. You can just feel like your teeth like...
Well, the bigger problem for us is you might have a bowl of candy, but I also have a bowl of candy that was curated, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I have not just the curated bowl of candy, but I also have an extra bag of Take Fives, which happens to be my favorite. So... Fuck off!
I'm glad you don't have a diet.
Yeah.
You Take 5 diet.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm going on the Take 5 diet starting now.
Right now.
So anyway, yeah.
Good times.
Yeah, that was good times. So this is interesting. We've talked about it in shows past. We are former Ingress elopers.
Yeah.
Players.
Frequenters.
That's how we met, actually. So it's like we kind of owe our friendship, I think, to a certain degree to Ingress. Yeah. And something interesting happened this week. Something that we knew was coming, but we gave up on a long time ago.
We did, yeah.
A long time ago. And the new, what they call the new scanner, the Ingress Prime scanner, dropped this week. And, of course, even though we're not playing, I downloaded it right away and tried it.
Did you?
I did. I came out Monday, and, my cube neighbor at work is a guy who plays Ingress, and he's like, hey, Ingress Prime. And I'm like, oh.
Guess I'll get on that.
And so I downloaded it and immediately proceeded to go, what the fuck? And had a really hard time understanding what I was looking at.
So even though I have removed myself from most of like the Google Plus communities, rest in peace Google Plus, from those communities, and we've distanced ourselves from the Hangouts, not from the people, but from the Hangouts.
The Ingress,
the amount of
Hangouts.
time that we've spent in Ingress, it's still like my Google Analytics still put that stuff in my Google cards on my Android phone. So somewhere about 11 o'clock, it still popped up in my feed, and I had kind of like, oh, something Prime, blah, blah, blah. And within the hour, I was getting hangouts from
other people.
From people like, hey, have you check? Hey, and so I didn't get a break because I was on call. I didn't get a break for a bit until I was able to catch up. And wow, so yeah, it's out there.
So did you download it?
I did not.
Oh, so have you looked at it?
I have only seen it in screenshots.
Oh.
And through impressions of people that have asked me, their impressions and what they're seeing, or had questions like, this, that, and the other thing, or from the Reddit community.
Here it is. It's on my phone. I'm going to hand this to you. Knock yourself out. It's launching. I truly.
Wow, that's fancy graphics.
Really just don't understand. It's one of those things. When we were in high school, my older brother Sean, we were punk rock kids, and he would always say, "Function over fashion." He was funny that way.
Yeah, Altessa's neutral.
The Ingress Prime is not function over fashion. It is not. In my opinion, it's a lot of eye candy over functionality.
Really? It looks nice. Well, because, yeah, from the pictures, it looked nice.
It looks nice, but what's wrong? Oh, you can play with it if you want. I
can't play it.
Do whatever.
Do you?
Oh, I'm going to be sad that you blew a couple bursters off? No.
Well, it'll be your tag. Boy, if I launched it on mine.
Oh, gosh.
Shit show.
Yeah, that's true. That's what I did is Monday. So I got it installed and I launched it and I poked around and I'm trying to find stuff and how do I even launch a burster? Where do you do this at? And I'm looking and I finally figure it out and I launch a couple bursters and of course where my office is,
you're hitting shit.
There's a lot of opposition.
Was your volume on?
No, but there's a lot of opposition portals right near the office, and
you still have way too many keys.
Jesus. I'm sure I do. I don't even give a shit.
Comms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But everything seems to be really hidden, and it's not really easy to get to things. One comment I heard from one of our friends was that the finding keys was a lot easier. Like being able to drill down to find the keys was quicker.
Yeah.
I don't know that I find that to be true necessarily, but he seemed to think so. But what I couldn't even find was the settings. I could never found any settings. I never found where you look at the local scores.
So I don't think local scores are available. The Septicycle. So that was one of the things that I started pulling up. So it's like, well, once people started asking me stuff, I could not avoid not.
They don't have the local Septicycle score?
No. To my knowledge, they don't, and I don't.
What's the point of why? That's not parity with the old
not
scanner.
Baked in yet? Well, I think that's part of the complaints. Portal under attack settings.
I thought the whole point was to have parity with the current formation of the scanner.
Not there yet. Like literally not there yet.
Well, yeah. Okay. When did they announce this?
So it was the tail end. So it was December of last year. And they released it at that anomaly in San Francisco. 2017.
Right.
Anomaly. So some random dude, I don't know, some Niantic guy, showed somebody the screenshot of or it was a screenshot. It was him playing, active, and then it was like a camera over shoulder kind of thing, and it was, this is coming, and so that had gotten us us being longevity players, that had spawned us okay, well, we're long in the tooth, but we can stick around here for the because we'll see, the expectations for what could be were certainly there's something else here.
There was a lot of speculation over what it was.
A lot of speculation. And for what it's worth, they didn't say done, ready, but they did say, I want to say spring, early spring.
I remember. I remember at the one point it was supposed to be like May or June when it was supposed to come out.
Right. And so as we got closer to the May, the Junes, that was when they started rebooting the brand, or at least releasing like the PR for the brand. So then it was like things coming in the rest of the year were all going to be relevant to this Ingress Prime, the new scanner. But at that point, since they'd already shown the scanner, they were tipping their hand as like, so this is here, we've got it, we've got working client. And so the community that had been on board since like, wow, someone stole something.
Someone took a Almond Joy from the AM.
They're still chewing it. They've got lockjaw.
Don't combine an Almond Joy with a peppermint patty.
Yeah, that's bad news. Oh. Can you imagine?
No.
So the community had been expecting something. And it was like typical, like, I mean, that's not new to game development. Like
upgrading your stuff.
It's coming. It's coming. We've got bug fixes. Sorry, we're going to be late with this iteration. It's coming.
And what was nice was even in the meantime, they were still updating the current scanner. And
we weren't dead in the water.
Yeah.
But a lot of us that had been, a lot of the, that's not just us locally, globally, a lot of the players that had reached the tops of whatever they were looking to achieve as far as the game was concerned, or even the community, were like, give me something.
Now what?
Yeah, now what's next?
Yeah.
I mean, you at some point you turn into a game player to a community manager if you're not doing things with the game anymore.
Right.
So it was like this was an opportunity to refresh the game such that you would give players something to play.
You remove some of the limits of the higher end gameplay.
And we had speculated, at least I had, speculated on the directions that they could go in order to give players something new to strive for, something new to go for relative to the game itself. A third faction, changing weapons, new types of modifications, new gameplay types, new communication tools, limiting options for cheating, all kinds of things. And what had happened was then they got to what we all had hoped was what would have been like the beta release dates of their Epiphany night, which was like their reboot of the brand,
right,
so to speak. They got there, and it was an extensive look at the scanner that's still in development, and a lot of us just went, nope. Me specifically, I'm like, I needed you to show me that we're there. And at the same time, they essentially said, what we're going for in the new scanner is feature parity with the old one.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no new game mechanics. There's no new features. Maybe we'll get to something, but really when we get this into your hands, it's Ingress 1.0 with fancy graphics.
Right.
And for a lot of us, that was like,
it wasn't enough.
That's a bridge too far. I'm done. I've done all the things that I can do. I love Ingress. I love the people that are in it, but I'm not going to continue to throw myself into a game that you're just going to put polish on and expect me to continue to.
And all I'm doing is growing stats and not really doing anything.
And as a player, personally, as a player that was never concerned or self-aware of his own stats, the stats weren't important to me. I enjoyed the gameplay. I enjoyed the strategy. But at some point when it's just rinse repeat, I was kind of like, hopefully I've taught other players.
And the level of gameplay that we had around here.
Right, and we've late nights and stuff like that. So it was like, okay, if this is where you want to go as a game development house, and you're just as a player of other games, if you're just going to give me a reskin and not a reboot, rebrand, and new features, well then it's time for me to step away. I'm not going to give you my business or my playtime or my microtransactions or all that. And I would have that approach with any game. And that's essentially what had happened.
Right.
So then they had kind of kicked the can down the road for these other landmarks. There was a San Diego anomaly and whatnot, where we'll promise beta invites to people over summer. We're expecting they had strung people along for there. So here comes Monday, Tuesday, Monday. Yep. They released the client, and it's not ready. It's not ready. I mean, I saw a number of cards on Tuesday of people that had finally been able to log in, and it was, I'm frustrated. It eats my battery. There's nothing different here for me.
I'll tell you what I noticed right away on my phone was I had it open for maybe...
You've lost 6% of your battery just sitting here idle.
Really?
Really?
I had it open for maybe 10 minutes in my office, and the phone was about 3 or 4 times hotter than it normally is. So it was definitely chewing through some battery. And
I mean, so on paper, right? So we've got quick swipe menus, new inventory management system, one finger map gestures, Facebook account linking, improved anti-cheat and security. And we looked into that. So if you're just a tech savvy type of person with an Android phone, I'm not a jailbreaker of iPhones, but if you're a person like me who has, I have multiple handsets. I do pen testing stuff as like a hobby. So a lot of my phones are rooted. I'm done. My Ingress phone is not rooted.
So that was
but if I was to ever, I keep multiple handsets because on different carriers because of my hobbies. But if any of those handsets where I had Ingress passively because I also had root, and if I was to play like I used to play, it would be I'd be limited to one handset, which is my daily driver that doesn't have root. I didn't play that way in the past. If I was ever in a remote place where I needed to switch carriers or I needed to use a different phone because it has a more drift or it has a better internal antenna, that wouldn't work anymore. So my type of play would be essentially handcuffed.
Yeah, I saw that Ted was saying that he couldn't get his scanner to run on his rooted device.
And that's not to say that there aren't nefarious people that are using root to do things, because part of that, how they
could be using it for other
they could be using it for any
altogether.
number of things to spoof their location, and I get that. We both know and have experienced those type of players, but you kill a lot of the community who like your demographic of the Ingress, the OG, when I say OG, the veteran player that's been here since 2012 plus, the demographic are a lot of tech-savvy people, and their handsets passively tend to be rooted because they're using different ROMs, they're doing all kinds of limiting the bloatware kind of things that come on the default carrier.
Right.
So
a
lot of these things aren't necessarily, I have root because I'm spoofing my location or I'm using some sort of app to get me something.
It's basically a blanket statement that says if you've got a rooted phone, you're probably cheating.
Right. And that's not to say that I don't understand that something had to be done or has to be done in the Ingress world from Niantic's point of view to help limit and do something about fair play. I get that and I understand that. But, there's got to be something else. I almost think you've got to level the scales a little bit when you say you can't use a rooted phone. Okay, is there a way for me to sign a thing that says, or check off and say, look at my phone. I assure you, I'm not doing any. I don't have any GPS smudging things on here. And if you see it, you can squash me, you can ban me, but that's not an option. It's just you have root. Sorry, no go.
Well, I mean, given that it's a GPS location-based game,
right?
I mean, out of curiosity, I wonder what the complaints are specifically around. Like, what's the percentage of complaints specifically around players who feel that so and so player is spoofing their location? Is that like 95% of their complaints.
See, that's
is that 20% of their
fly
complaints?
on the wall? That would be an awesome stat to actually know. I think a lot of it is anecdotal.
My guess is that it has to be a pretty high percentage of their complaints for them to just come out and go, okay, no more rooted systems. You know,
it could be. I mean, you run into things like like 'cause I play, Destiny, right? So there's a thing on a lot of the forums where you run into a vocal minority versus the silent majority. So it's if you've got a select few players that frequently hit the G+ boards or Facebook or Reddit that are always complaining about spoofing. How and I
saw it in normal gameplay,
right? But did we ever? To what level is that actually seeing? So we, like I said, anecdotally, we see odd play locally or just a hair off abroad, and we can say, that doesn't seem fair. There's some shenanigans there. The amount of times we make those internal complaints versus actually spinning up a ticket or going specifically to a G+, community and posting screenshots, that was fewer and far between. It was just much easier to get into your and complain or make a sad panda thing about it. Right. So tough to say.
I mean, my guess is that complaint has to have been far and above probably the main complaint they would get.
Was spoofing.
About spoofing.
Yeah, you're not really here.
Yeah, in order for them to just come out and go, no more rooted systems, because once that system's rooted, we don't have any control over it.
Yeah. It would be interesting to see. I'm a data guy. It would be interesting to see. Show me the player base that is impacted passively by having root versus the potential player base of people that actually use root for nefarious. Like, what's that scale look like? Is it nose to spite the face to give a platitude to the player base that's vocally putting it out there as a problem? Or is it, are you actually doing good by saying, the resolution here is a blanket no root policy because it's that bad? I would be interested to see those numbers.
Did they have, out of curiosity, and I never played Pokemon Go,
right?
But did they also have that same
at the start? At the start, you could root if you were rooted.
They don't allow it anymore now.
To my knowledge, they have some of the checks that are there, but I believe people can still hide root for Pokemon Go. I think you can still spoof your location to some capacity in Pokemon Go. I don't know 100%, but I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
But you definitely could in the early, probably I want to say 4 months of Pokemon Go. You could spoof your location to wherever you want to get some of those exotic ones. That was the thing.
Well, I remember, I have an iPhone. I don't root my iPhone. I'm not a location spoofer.
Yeah.
But just as an example, there were some portals that were near the Walmart over here in Roseville.
Yeah.
That you could kill them if they were the opposition's portals. You could kill them from the Walmart parking lot.
Right.
But in order for you to take them, you would have to park your car and go into the park.
And walk. Yeah.
And there was a player a green player. I was blue. We were blue. There was a green player that frequently hit those portals and would be there. And all I would have to do is drive by those portals from the Walmart parking lot.
Yeah.
Launch bursters off until they were gone, and that guy repeatedly called me a location spoofer, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
Because I was there, but he just has his set way of playing that he doesn't realize he can go up in the parking lot and kill him.
It's the length of time that I'd been playing. It was very easy to, and that wasn't. You're not. That happened on both sides, right?
Yeah.
So the perception of, this can't be happening. It happens on both sides. The sprinklers.
Wow.
It happens on both sides. So it's not a green thing or a blue thing. And a lot of times that has to do with, some players' inability to, some of the finer details. Like, what is the distance that a level 8 bursters can reach in distance.
Right.
And then you have to work that out spatially in almost 3 dimensions, because sometimes you could be above in a parking garage and not necessarily outward,
right.
but you could be above. And a lot of players are expecting, if I can't see you on this plane, then you're not here.
Right.
This is what defines my play type, and therefore you're not here. And that was always one of the hardest things for people to grasp. And the longer we played, the more it was, okay, I realize you're upset, and this happens on both sides. I realize you're upset about this thing that's something you think, but is it possible that he or she was above you in the parking garage? And when you had played like as long as you and I had, you knew the tricks of the trade. It's like, I know how to get to that portal. We
looked for those opportunities.
Right, and the Walmart thing is a perfect example.
Yeah.
It's like, how can I get to this as quickly, as fastly as possible with some, like, sneaky shadiness here without being seen, so I'm not compromising my ability to make my next move. And a lot of that put you in a out-of-sight type of perception. So, it happens.
Yeah.
It happens.
Now you were talking about the spread of a burster.
Right.
It looked to me, and maybe someone could let us know, but it looked to me from the few bursters that I fired off at work that the burster spread seemed to be shorter than it was.
I did see people complaining that it was harder also to align because I think the map looked more 3D.
Uh-huh.
It was harder for people to align Ultra Strikes, and the Ultra Strikes were supposed to be for the pinpoint mod shearing capability. So when you're looking at a 3-dimensional portal, it was a lot of people because their arrow moved around a little bit more. It was a little ambiguous. Like, well, how do I make sure that I'm in the core of the portal to start shearing? People were complaining about that. So the location stuff seemed fuzzy. People were complaining about the battery. If we're getting back to some of the complaints, so you had that. They right out the gate, they had like microtransactions for weapons in the store, and people started getting all up in arms about that. So you could buy bursters and Ultra Strikes in the store. People were like, now it's a pay to win.
Yeah.
If I can just, like I was talking with Brad.
Well, if that would have happened in the old scanner, none of us, we would have stopped playing. I think.
On a dime.
Yeah.
And I had a lengthy conversation with Brad today about, we had both gotten the same thing in our Google feeds. We're OGs as well. And so we were talking about, pay to win is almost subjective. I mean, if I were to drop a bunch of frackers, which are things that helped you multiply your output on a portals, if I were to put frackers down, pay for the frackers, and I get extra output, and I give that out, am I not paying to win?
To get gear.
Right. So you're really just kind of moving the goalpost almost as a definition. It's like, well, how do you define, right there they're selling you the end game stuff, the end game components. But, if you're going to complain about pay to win, then really all you want to see in the store are beacons.
Right.
Really? Really? Because anything else, the frackers get you gear.
And what was the other thing? Capsules.
Yeah, the key capsules.
Yeah.
Right.
Key capsules. Yep. So, Well, I'm curious to know if people who are still playing that are hearing this podcast, because I know we have a lot of old friends,
old and currents that are still playing.
Old friends and current people that we know that are still playing and are actually using the scanner to play right now.
Right.
Where we're not. We're just sort of objectifying it a little bit, but it looked to me to be a total WTF moment in the sense of what did they do?
Right.
But I'm curious to know if you're using it. Let us know. We want to know.
And so you saw it too. The tail end of the day. Yesterday, the fervor of people being upset, particularly the older players, veteran players, they re-released the version 1 client. They just call it's in the Play Store. They call it Scanner Redacted.
Really?
So
I did not know this.
Really? So it got so bad that Niantic has essentially re-released the version 1 client for people who are so upset and so like done that you can play Ingress on the version 1 client using the Scanner Redacted. And to me, that's just like, you know what? You got to stick to your guns. As a game house developer, you guys released this. It was alpha, not beta. First you need to eat that. But you need to say, hey,
this is it.
This is it.
We're moving forward.
Right. Or you need to pull the plug. You need to say, we're moving the active client back to Scanner Redacted. Here you go. The Ingress Prime client is moving back to alpha. We're asking you to please, move your Prime. I don't know how you do it from a PR standpoint. You either need to eat that Ingress Prime is alpha and make a public thing saying please go back to Scanner Redacted, or you just need to put more logs in the fire and say, here are the bug fixes, here are your complaints, we see that, we're going to address that as soon as possible, here's our roadmap for getting you releases and the fixes, and there you go, and you make it right.
Yeah, it's crap right now, but we're working on it.
Yeah, just something. And they've always been, that's always been so frustrating with Niantic.
Very few details.
It's always obfuscation,
yes,
or double speak. It's like after that, as long as we had put into playing, like I said, I was a beta player November of 2012. So we're on what was 6 and change years of playing the game.
Yeah.
So there's love there. I'm passionate and was passionate about Ingress.
I would love to be a fly on the wall in some of these conference room meetings and whatnot they have with their developers and their marketing people, and try and figure out where they're going, because it sounds like they're all over the place.
Yeah,
like they don't have any idea what
you don't
they're
necessarily have to be sorry, I stepped on you.
No.
You don't necessarily have to be an Ingress player. I mean, this type of passion and wanting to see something that you enjoy succeed is not unique to Ingress. And like I said, I'm a diehard Destiny player. Destiny 1, Destiny 2. Halo. I play all the Halos. I'm a Mass Effect guy. Lego Minecraft. I want all the games that I play and put passion into succeed. And I was no different with Ingress. And so to see them continually do this to their player base, it's just frustrating.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, gosh, how do we do on time?
We're there.
Oh, we're there? Yeah. We're not even making it to the D block. Well, heck. I didn't think we would spend that much time with Ingress, but I'm glad we did. And I think we're going to wrap it up for tonight. Yeah? Foo's got something going on over there.
I can't nail my password. But yeah.
Oh, gosh. He doesn't know how to type.
It's like with the arm in the way. My dry mouth.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for listening again. This is episode 6.
Episode 6.
And we'll be back again next week with something new and exciting. Hopefully.
We have all kinds of ways for you guys to enjoy our glorious voices in various media, however you choose to do it. Spotify,
Google Play,
YouTube,
iTunes,
or locally from the site itself.
Yeah. And again, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening.
All right.